Back again.
Back again, man.
My man, you looking good today. You looking real good.
Had to throw the classic on. Gitman Brothers, for those who are gonna ask. Uh, you know, check them out. Classic. Yeah. How about
How
you,
you
man? How's
been?
your day? Oh, my day's
Good.
been going good, man.
Good.
Uh,
Good.
been one of those days. A lot of coffee and
Oh, yeah.
joints to get to make it through, but it's been a good day.
Nice. Yeah, same here. Start of the week. Coming off a real busy weekend, which it was fun, but just got the feeling of like little behind starting the week because I didn't really get my Sunday to kind of collect myself and prepare myself for the week. So
Yeah,
not complaining, had a good time, had some friends in town, but
yeah.
yeah, just looking forward to kind of peace and quiet and then to collect myself and yeah, pushing pixels and building the bricks.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
But yeah, thank you for everyone for tuning in for yet another episode. This one's gonna be a little different, so we're trying something. Bear with us. This is gonna be, we're all about building in public. So, for the viewers, you got to understand that we won't. If we want to try shit, we're gonna try shit. So
Yeah.
as you know, if you've been around here, we usually kind of go and catch up and shit and then talk about like shit on our mind or relevant topics in the news relative to design tech, in that space. But we want to start some episodes to be themed and have some prompts kind of lined up to really just like test ourselves, to challenge ourselves to really dive into this talk show sit like more so than just like introducing topics of discussion and then giving our thoughts, right? Like what I mean by that is today's episode, we're going to break down uh, unsuccessful company rebrands in the past, few years or whatever. And, Melton and I being designers, we can have, we have some thoughts, right? What works, what doesn't work, right? Maybe we feel like it was actually a successful rebrand, shit like that. We have one planned and a couple episodes to do successful rebrands, some more shit in the works to talk about. Like we'll do a deep dive on projects we've done ourselves, sharing old work, sharing new work. So yeah, expect to have more themed episodes coming out. I really like that we're doing this just to because we were finding that we can easily kind of talk about similar topics over and over, and that's not what we want to do. We want to keep these fresh and fun for those that listen. So yeah, let's just jump right into it, man. Let me share this screen here, and this is all live for those that are curious. I literally sent this to Melton as we like 2 minutes before we started recording. So all this shit's off the dome. We may have heard of these in the past, in passing. Being designers, being in the space, it's probable that we've heard of these cases, but not definite. So let's begin here. So shout out to clintmarketing.com for providing this article for us. Let's get started. What we got here? So yeah, got quite a few here. We'll go to Staples. I'm not seeing the before and after, but basically they just flipped the staple on its side and tied it in with the word mark. I always thought this looked like a bench, um, but I don't know. It could favor that because like they also like sell like the furniture and stuff. I don't know. What do you think about this, Mel? Not too much.
Yeah, the thing with all these rebrands that we're gonna come across is what people always jump to is the visual identity of a brand, but a brand is not just a visual identity. So if this was their logo from the very beginning with Staples, people will be cool with it. But this just looks weird, right? It's just when we think of Staples, we think of the iconic logo, and this doesn't really mean anything. It looks like a bench. It looks, I don't know what it is. It just looks kind of goofy. Um, it's going to take people years to like really buy in and be like, oh, this is a staple. Where do you even use a stapler? like with the remote work
Who's
that
still using
we've moved.
staplers? Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like that's a very obsolete thing in the day and age of email, right? So
Hmm.
not really a fan. I like the amount of work they put into it. That's great. Throw a party for something that sophomore in high school could have made. That's great. But yeah. Thumbs down on that one.
I'm down. Yeah. Not a big fan. Let's move on here. Okay, leading off, let's do Tropicana. So let's see. Simpler packaging, '09. So we all know this one on the left here, and they're labeling it a fail. I think this move was to kind of go along with like the simplifying, breaking the elements down to kind of make it more modern. I feel like it's losing some of its tradition, right? It's losing some of that.
Mhm.
What I see when I look at this one on the left is like, I've never been big on orange juice, although like I feel like it was often in my fridge growing up, and it's like that. I think of like childhood, like you go in your fridge and like that's what you would see if you want to get like a cup of orange juice. It has that like traditional kind of like staple to it. I don't know if I'm making any sense. I feel like you're losing some character to go to that modernized look. What do you think?
Yeah, for sure. I don't know what happened over the past uh, 10 or 15 years. Well, I do know, but these brands' obsession with uh, simplifying things and trying to sophisticate the brand, they go hire these guys, and the individual who designed this Arnell Group, Peter Arnell, he's somewhat of a legend, and also he's been referred to as the Bernie Madoff of branding. He's kind of screwed up quite a few brands, not being able to connect with the common man. People like to, is pattern recognition, eye recognition. They want to see things that you know they're familiar with that makes them comfortable. This
Mm,
here, like this wine glass, this mimosa
right.
glass is like,
Mimosa.
bro, it just does it. It's a cool design, but it just missed the mark. That would be great for some conceptual stuff on Behance, but you
Mm.
can't tell these people anything, bro. They're on one. Yeah, it definitely missed the mark.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's a good call out on like the imagery selection. So like, you got the straw right into the orange with the greenery. It feels like you grabbing the orange right off the plant, and then the image selection, you're jumping straight to like a wine glass, like you're saying like mimosa. I feel like they're trying they're changing their whole like seller, or sorry, like audience, like who they're selling to. It's interesting. Okay, let's keep going here. Um, Here we go. So the Gap rebrand. So this is one that I personally heard of when it happened. Wasn't too see 2010. Yeah, so I wasn't really didn't have my heart set on design yet. However, I know that I heard of this happening. So they rebranded, and then 6 days later, they reverted back because of such an uproar from their audience base of like, what is this? So, as you see, they just dropped all the fucking character. They went full out Helvetica. To their credit, at this time, all brands are moving to a Helvetica typeface logo mark. So, like, they kind of jumped on the wave. Although I
Yeah,
just don't think it hit, and it clearly did. And they 6 days later, they went right back to their old one, and we're down $100 million. They invested $100 million in this little revamp here for somebody to open Photoshop, typeface, gap, little square tool, little gradient to it. Boom. It's sad, man. What do you
yeah.
think about this? I mean, I know we've touched about like the modernization of logo and brand identity overall, but this specific one, like I know there was moments in your childhood walking through the mall and you see that Gap logo, you know what it is right away, right?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. I don't think the after one is actually bad. It's just
Mm,
again to the point you can't be switching your brand up so quickly. And we would have to research it, but I think this is around was this around the time Kanye was messing with them? I'm not sure, but I think there's some Kanye influence
mm,
with that Gap rebrand. I could be wrong, but something was going on there at the time with those guys. It was just too abrupt. It was out of nowhere. And again, if this was a brand new company, a brand new brand, I guess you would say this new Gap logo might work. It might work, but yeah, again, when you've been around 30 years or however long, 40 years, or however long Gap's been around, you can't be making these sharp turns with
mm.
your shit. Like that's just too much, right? So uh yeah, that was it a smart move there.
Yeah, sharp turn indeed. A little 90-degree. Like it says right here, one early tip: design a new logo that doesn't throw out a long positive history. Like you say, like it's just too different. It's just not what Gap built themselves. What their whole history. When I see this, I think about my mom would take me there every few years to get the new khaki shorts, for school, right? This
Yeah.
it don't feel like that. This is like a design firm, in architecture space, or I don't know what this is. So yeah, holding on to that brand identity is the most important piece. Craft rebranding. I don't know if I have too much to say on this one. I mean, Kraft, like all I know about Kraft is it's the cheese and the mac and cheese I get at the grocery. Uh,
Right.
didn't know about the logo change. I mean, ironically, you see this change is what you see in a lot of brands like reverse do now. Like nowadays, you see the brand started off with this with a little more character and flair, and some fun to it, and then they go to a word mark.
Simpler.
So it's interesting
Yeah.
to see this is like backwards, right? But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. That's I don't actually either or seems fine with me. I don't see what does it say there. What was the uproar about? Because that would
yeah. Let's see. It says after only 6 months, decided to go back, simply make some small changes to their old classic logo. Hmm. I don't know. I don't see this. I don't think this one, like the reception was all too bad, but I do think of this one when I see Kraft Foods. I don't think I've ever seen this, so
right.
I don't know.
Yeah, I haven't really. I don't know. I haven't really seen that one. It does look you know, kind of looks sus. Kind of looks like a Cisco like Mill on Wheels, WIC office, welfare
Yeah,
office, kind of. So I
welfare.
don't. I don't really trust it that much. Um, so yeah, I don't know
Cool.
about that one.
Yeah, not sure. Let's see. 2015 Mastercard. Let's see. People associate Mastercard with two colored circles. Added new elements. Interesting. Yeah. I'm not a fan of this one. Like so they went from like that flat look, Mastercard being, I mean, this is like largely recognized. Everybody got it on the plastic in their wallet, right? I think that it's tough, like for a lot of these like well-established brands that have become like such tradition and you know largely consumed in the US or, worldwide, whatever it may be, they get to a point where they're like, it gets old for them, so they want to try some new shit, right? You can't fault them for trying some new shit, but like, this just wasn't, it definitely, I could see why it was confusing. It's just, what's going on here? Is this like the implosion kind of like supposed to be like visually kind of depicted? Like, is that what, like, the combination of the red and yellow and then this kind of immersion or like explosion or whatever? I'm not sure what's going on here. I don't know. Is this too much?
I think it looks good. I think both looks good. I don't remember the storytelling they might have did on that. The thing is, you can't be showing people stuff randomly.
Mm.
There has to be a slow build up. It has to integrate in. If there was a commercial and it was like people at a salsa dance, and the husband pulls out a Mastercard to pay for the fajitas, and it was like a red tint, and then there was a soccer game, and the kid is drinking some Tropicana, and there's an orange tint, and you blend it together, Mastercard coming together with families and people on the go. Like, I have to see that to know if that makes sense. But just randomly seeing it, I don't know. How did that logo look on the card? Did they come out a new MasterCard and that new logo was embezzled in a fancy, cool way where you can feel the ridges and the bevels and the shit on the card? If it has some of that, then I don't know. Again, I think people are so obsessed with what they're used to. It is very hard to implement these new ideas. You have to slowly do it. You can't just do these quick turns like Gap. You gotta ease it in. You gotta get it wet first. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You can't just go in there dry. So I like the newer version of it, the after on this MasterCard one, but I'm pretty sure it was horribly executed because I've never seen this ever. And I have a MasterCard and I've still never seen this.
Yeah. No, but you made some good points. Like, you basically gave a creative direction for a commercial shoot on how they could introduce this new look paired with like a real life interaction. Like, that's exactly what you just said is what's needed for every step of a rebrand. You can't just like introduce it via 1920 by 1080 photo on your social media feed. It needs to be illustrated through a story and through storytelling and brand recognition. And I do have to commend that, like, apparently, like, they dropped the MasterCard, the verbiage, the name from the logo, and it being able to stand on its own like that and recognize like that is, you have to commend that because they've just been so established. What the red and yellow is, so yeah, that's good. Pepsi, here we go. Pepsi 2014, 1 million spent. Pepsi designers came with a new logo, resulting in a strong negative criticism. Globe was turned to its side. Unsuccessful attempt to evoke smiles on people's faces. Moreover, the white part of the logo was changed in size depending on the product type. People saying the rebranded logo is uncreative, failed marketing. However, they decided to go with it. So I kind of like this one. I think this before is too, symmetrical, right? Like, just super simple. And the one on the right has this kind of like fun flowiness to it. And that's the one I think of now. I don't even drink soft drinks or Pepsi, but I know that that's what that is. This is tough because, like, as the designer, right? You say you're on Pepsi's team, and that your fucking icon or your stamp, your brand identity is a circle, an eclipse. You really don't have a lot to work with. So, like, that you have to work within the confines of this circle and then have to work with these leading lines, in design, like, and how to, in such little workspace, how can you have these depict such a interesting look, you know? So out of the two,
Yeah.
left and right, which one do you think works best?
So there's a little history about this logo going back to Peter Arnell. Um, I'm gonna actually drop you a link. I don't know if I sent you the right one, but I'm gonna send you another link. This rebrand is one of the greatest rebrands ever in society. That people hate on this because designers are spineless and pretentious, but this is literally the greatest rebrand to ever exist.
I like that.
Man,
Strong standpoint.
it,
Talk to me.
it is one of the greatest. Like if you a designer like myself who have took mushrooms, done acid, and smoked weed, and drunk Starbucks coffee, all within 2 hours of each other, uh, you understand how great this is. Now look at this. Look at the emotion. You're drinking.
Mm.
You know, drinking my little coffee. Funny. It's funny. It's great. Look at it. You're tilting your head back. This is comedy. This is fun. This is design. They knew what they were doing. Go.
Yeah.
It's more. Go to the next one. It's more.
Oh, wow. They're
This
breaking it down.
the
We in outer
Pepsi
space.
universe. The Pepsi universe. This is how you sell branding. Who doesn't want to be in the Pepsi universe? Light years. Look at it. The Pepsi galaxy, the Pepsi universe. This is how you do it. It's more. Look at that. The Earth, magnetic
Holy shit.
fields. This is how you rebrand. People hate this. Designers are pretentious. They think everything is, they just very pessimistic group of people. But this is amazing. This is what you do. This is the slides you show. You go into a call, you're going to make that pitch, and you start bringing up the electric generator and the fluid motion generates that sustains the Earth magnetic field. That's how you sell it. That's how you do it. This is what I call amazing branding. People hate this one. I love it just because to have the balls to go into a meeting and get paid all this money just to do all this for that simple ass logo that you learn on Spoon Graphics on YouTube. That's what I call design. Applaud these people.
Applaud,
for their.
I gotta say, I have never seen this article, and I thank you so much for sharing. Because I gotta say, if you're discussing the magnetic fields of planet Earth in your pitch, dude, just fund them. Just fund them. Like they got the project. That's incredible. I've never seen this. I really like this graphic to see the iterations that were tested of a depiction of a smile and enjoyment and consumer enjoyment of the product. This is fucking a great case. I'm not sure why this is according to Clint Marketing, and I guess they assumed this as general mass, whatever. I think this is a win. I think this is really well done. I love seeing, and you're right, like this shit, just like the extensive research and details into their reasoning is just so well done. So yeah, we're gonna this is definitely a success, I would say. Yeah, we may have to bring this back for the couple episodes when we do the successful rebrands. All right, that was a good one. Let's move on. Animal Planet. So this is an interesting one because I still think of this logo when I think of Animal Planet. When you go into say you're in like 4th, 5th grade, you go into your school and that your teacher rolls that big old ass TV on the rolling cart when that's what you're doing for the day. And Animal Planet comes on. That's what I think about. It's interesting to see how they lose that kind of, they just completely dropped the earth here, like the globe, the bevelness, the shadow went straight flat. and then drop the green entirely, So I think the green works better talking about animals and the planet, I think that I don't. That's just me personally. I think of the green and greenery, God's green earth,
Yeah.
But I don't know. Let's see. What are your thoughts? I'm gonna go ahead and read this. Which one do you think? I'm. Not, I think this one works. I mean, what do you think?
I'm definitely leaning more towards the middle one. I don't
Mm.
know why that M is on the side. Well, I kind of do. It kind of helps take up space, but I kind of lean towards that one. Um, the last one, yeah, I mean, it works. I don't know, Animal Planet, this abstract. I guess like these companies, these brands, they're always looking for ways to make things easier to work anywhere. So they go abstract, they go more simple. It's really, it's really kind of disgusting. I think there's a documentary. Is it the Helvetica documentary about how this European design, how it just makes everything just Helvetica is real dystopian like. And they in all these companies, they all try to do this. Like this Animal Planet logo, this new one, how is that different from the Gap one? Right?
Mm.
Like, and it kind of like is all this like simplify, right? Simplifying it so they can use it anywhere, maximize use and focus more on what they actually are. While I understand that it loses meaning. Like the before, the after, those have meanings. People are connected to it. It brings back a certain feeling. It connects to a certain emotion, a certain time period. This a new one here. This means nothing to me. Like it has no meaning. Um, I would love to see if there's a study if they show older content to younger people. Will that older
Mm.
content resonate more than newer content? I always wonder that. So, um, yeah, no, this new one's a turd to me.
Yeah, that's interesting. And also, like to call out, like you see brands doing this, right? So you look here. So capital A, capital P, and then all caps, and then no capitalization, right? So you see these brands doing that, lean into that lowercase word mark. I feel like that play is like you want to be like more comforting or more familiar or friendlier. When you see like the all lowercase, it's not strong. It's not like impacting. It's very like welcoming and warm and friendly and I don't know. So it's interesting. And then also like they kind of bring back some of the round. You got this round to the globe, and they kind of apply that effect to the elephant. They bring the elephant back. So they're kind of paying homage. They're kind of keeping some identity there, but I mean they changed the color entirely. It's quite a shift, I'd say. So I'm not sure what this saw in terms of like reception, but uh, many claim that this was the biggest logo fail of the early 2000s. Uh, I think they're talking about this one, but I don't know. It's just interesting to see the evolution of this one. Let's see. Uh, we don't really know nothing about this shit. Let's keep going here.
About
Let's
UK
find. Oh, here
property,
we
yeah,
go.
that's
Yeah, yeah. So this one is one that I also have heard of. Don't know the specifics. However, I do know that um, when it was pitched, people were so confused because, right, like you have the Syfy channel, right? Sci-fi, science fiction, is spelled science fiction, Fiction, right? So when it was switched to this, it was just confusing. Like, okay, you just completely dropped like the proper spelling of sci-fi, right? So I don't know. Like now, when I think of sci-fi, I immediately think of this one. So I would think it's some success in terms of like my age and like the content that I've consumed on that channel. Yeah, what do you think about this one?
Uh, I think it's actually it makes sense. I mean, it's definitely giving Yahoo. It's definitely
Mm,
giving. I don't know what it's giving. It's just giving weird. But it works. It's up to date with the language. I don't know if most do people even know what that it means science fiction. Like, do people even know that? I don't think most people know that. So, abbreviating it, I think, is on par with how language works. We're moving. Damn, was this? We talked about this on a previous episode. That language has been changing to the point if people from the 50s were to magically hear how we speak now, they wouldn't understand the English that we're speaking. So I think it's on par because that's what people say. Sci-fi. They're not.
yeah.
That- and I'm probably not even pronouncing that right. You know, like I probably have some twang to it or something. Just sci-fi. I don't know what sci-fi is, nor do I think most people know what it is, right? But it's just in the lexicon of language, so it works. It just works.
Yeah, no, that's a good one. Uh, Honestly, this is going great. We could probably make this a two-parter. So let's kind of do a couple more, and then we'll end it, and we'll do a part two because this is
Cool.
really enjoyable. I like how this is going. So okay, here we go. So this is an example of a complete rebrand. Name change and all. Uh, Comcast most hated customer service in the United States. Logo swap doesn't result history of bad practices. Okay, so this logo change was more than just a logo change. It was a complete brand identity and brand development shift. Right, new change for them. They need a new change. I don't know. Like, I mean, is there much here? I mean, it's just a fucking type. Is a word mark. Comcast, Xfinity. Do you have experience with either service provider?
I do. I do have experience with.
They treat you well over there, or what?
They don't. They don't treat me well at all. So there's that. Um, yeah, I don't. I don't have good words to say about Xfinity. They're kind of very. My word of the day on Brick Talk is turdish. They're very
Mm,
turdish. As a
Turkish.
company, like most service providers are. Um, the word mark is cool. I think these companies, this one, Time Warner Cable, they rebranded to Spectrum. The logo almost looks exactly like this Xfinity one. I think they have to rebrand every year, or not every year, or every 20 or so years, just because they suck so bad at what they do. They are another victim of poor urban planning, uh, poor focus on the environment. So their service always sucks because we're always building roads, highways, building new homes, not building new homes. Sorry as infrastructures. So these cable providers can never actually provide a good service. Therefore, they need to rebrand and make people psych their minds out. Like, oh, all my hatred is for Comcast. Let's make a new company called Xfinity, and maybe people will feel differently about it. I don't think they will. So I give this a 5 out of a 5. I give this is a 5-inch turd. They're eating their fiber, so this is a 5-inch turd on the poop scale as rebrands.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's definitely interesting, like to think about, as to say, like, let's take like a consumer that had Comcast with like awful. experiences, right? Like that was the play for them, right? They had a bad rep as Comcast, and they just wanted to completely change things up, you know. So you can't run away from your bad rep, though. A new logo, new name, you know, as long as you got the same people running it and the same, you know, SOPs, the same business shit, like, you know, it's just gonna the trash is gonna follow you around. All right, let's do one more.
Yeah.
Uh, so this one's interesting, you know, and you know, both of us are well familiar with BP being from the South, and we know of their bad practices and shit that's happened, unfortunately, in the Gulf. But I think this one's just interesting because I've always known as BP as this little emblem here, this little floral thing going on here. I had no idea they came from this shield. Let's see, Petroleum, same logo for 70 years. Wow, estimated the development of the new logo cost BP 211 million dollars. That's insane. Um, British British Petroleum chose to incorporate the symbol of Helios, the Greek god of the sun, as a main element in his logo. Renewed green growth mission. Yeah, BP is everything but environmentally friendly. Just a reminder. Marine oil spill. Good rebranding, new logo should always aim at representing the company's vision and strategy. In that case, they did not do that. So I don't know. This I guess, you know, color palette itself. Every time I see this shit, LimeWire immediately. Uh, and
Yeah.
that's no fault to BP, I guess. Just like LimeWire was the first kind of, you know, green yellow brand that I experienced as a kid, and it kind of stuck with me. Um, yeah, I mean, what do you think about this? Just, you know, I wouldn't expect you to know too much about British British Petroleum as a company. I mean, neither do
Yeah.
I. But like visually, you know, from a visual standpoint, right? You got these two bold capitalized letters in this shield, right? This fucking strong shield of force, right? And then you go to this, you know, sundial, lowercase BP, right? Like from a viewer, from a third party, like what does this depict, right? There's just this visual change, like to you.
Yeah. I like the whatever that is on the after. I like the symbol. Of course, I feel like they can just drop the BP. We don't need to know that. I don't know what's up with that. It's like in the same position as that Gap one. I don't think
Yeah.
that's really necessary. I don't know what's that's for. Maybe it's to pay a homage to the older logo that someone's nephew did back in, I don't know, 18 something. Definitely not well designed. I'm pretty sure Paul Rand or somebody was around at that time. So I don't know why it took so long for a rebrand. They were definitely needing one this before. Just looks mad sus in 2024 vision. So the new one, yeah, I like it. The BP needs to go. Of course, this is another turd company. So for this one, I'm gonna give it 8-inch turd, uh, and with a double flush. So
Oh,
just
it's
just
leaving
give it
some
that.
streaks. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Understood. All right, cool. Well, yeah, we'll end it there, man. This went pretty well, I'd say. So I think we're gonna definitely do a part two. I think we've only made it through like halfway of this one article, and I'm sure we can find some more. Just, you know, each individually doing some research, and we'll make this a part two. And, you know, 10 episodes or so, we'll throw it up again, and be expecting the successful rebrands episode to come out where we just, you know, essentially just dive into, you know, brands that really knocked it out the park with the rebrand and saw success both in, you know, revenue and just you know, customer retention. So yeah, man, this was a great. Do we want to do some recs this episode? I know we kind of switched things up. Uh,
Uh,
you have
let
one? I don't know
me
if I got
see.
to think of something.
I don't have a rec uh, right here. Let me see. I might have one. Let me rub the
Oh, he's
temples.
finding it.
Yeah, just finding it. What's a thought? What's a thought? Let me see. I don't know, man. I don't have one today. Um,
How about this? How about your rec is something that you explained so well going through these, the importance of illustrating the brand change and the brand development, and if you want to get from an older traditional style logo to a new modernized look, it can be done. However, you can't just do that, like you said, you coined that term, the sharp turn, right?
Yeah, yeah. That's always very important when doing any rebrand or just branding. Branding is not the visual identity. Branding is not a logo. It's not the colors. It's not the typography. Branding is the story. It's the actual soul of the brand. And that comes from writing, strategy, thinking, right? So before you even get to thinking about a visual identity, is always good to really do that groundwork and understand who your client base are, who your community is, and understanding that when you build a community, you also have to define who's not in that community when you build a community. And so when you put out these things, you're going to have people that aren't a part of your community given their opinions, right? You have to make sure the moves you make actually are serving the people you're looking to serve. In the past, I would say 15 or 20 years, a lot of design agencies and designers have been robbing business owners, just selling the rebrand, just selling the visual identity, and not focusing enough on the brand strategy. And, here at Brick by Brick, we know brand strategy. So we can help you get there. We can help you get to the point where you understand your brand, and that disconnect isn't there. So where you don't have these issues when it comes to um, identities, branding, your mission, the tone, the voice. So whatever you're looking to do. So yeah, always focus on strategy, branding, design, um, and really understanding with that customer base. I think you just got to do it. There's no way around it. So yeah.
Cool. I like that. Yeah, I'm kind of blanking on mine, so I'm gonna kind of steal a little from yours. My rec would be to go with Brick by Brick for a rebrand if you're looking for one. Like Melton said, we'll clearly lay things out for you, and help you understand why it's so important. To understand the development of your brand, and to grow that with you. I know it can be you know you can feel like you can get the monthly subscription of Canva and try to do it yourself and export the PNG and see how long that can ride. But with all due respect, I can promise you that that won't get you far. So if you're serious about your brand, you're serious about your product, you're serious about growing, and you want to put a face to that brand, work with us. Get in touch. We'll plug the website. Email us, reach out to each of us on Instagram, or text message, whatever you want to do, and yeah, we'll be happy to, you know, hop on a call with you, discovery call, understand where your head's at, and what we can do for you. We love the opportunity, and appreciate your time, and your interest. So cool. Well, thank you everyone for joining another episode of Brick Talk. This was a fun one. I love the switch up. Be looking out for more of these, some more fun ones. Again, sorry, I don't want to repeat myself, but just be on the lookout for successful rebrands. Melton and I basically just like revealing some of our old work that we're not the proudest of. Some vulnerability there. I know there's people that watch us that have a little interest in design and web design, graphic design. Maybe maybe not at all interested in art or design, but more so just like entrepreneurship or business development, right? We would love to share those insights that we've had building our careers. Some things you can also look out for is a little while ago, we wrapped a client project, one of our first ones that we did with a food truck in Houston. So we're going to kind of get together prior to that episode and lay out some, we'll screen share just like we did this one, and we'll kind of lay out our deliverables and talk through our process and their feedback and, iterations that we sent back. Just, again, transparency. We want to show work that we've done. So, yeah, thanks everyone for tuning in. This was a fun one. And till next week.
Peace.